Hi, my name is Paige. Welcome to another reading vlog. So as I've been planning out all of the reading vlogs that I want to do over the next couple of months, I realized that I wasn't setting aside time to read the books that I genuinely want to pick up right now. So I decided, why not make a vlog dedicated to all of the stuff that I just want to read? So that's what I'm going to do in this vlog. So I have 5 books that I have been dying to get to, that I keep hearing people are reading, or that I had read the back of them and thought that they sounded so good and wanted to get to them immediately, but I've been prioritizing all these other books for vlogs. So in this one, we're getting to them. There are also some fun things that I would like to try and do in this vlog as well, but let me tell you about the books first. First up, we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Everyone is in love with this. It's about, I want to say, 2 people at a bookstore who fall in love, and I think it's kind of enemies to lovers. I don't know. Everyone is obsessed with it, so this is the first one that I have to read. Then we have Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, and again, all of my friends have read this. All of them tell me that I will absolutely love it. It's about 2 boys in an arranged marriage in space. It sounds so good. Everything that I'm ever going to love in life is in this book, I'm sure. So I think this is going to be the first one that I pick up because I am the most excited for this one. Then we have A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, and this is about a transgender woman who was in the military and was presumed dead, so she decides to go about being the person that she wants to be, but it means giving up her title and her money and her family and her friends. And I think she had a childhood best friend who's devastated about her loss, and they might get back together somehow, some way, and fall in love. So I'm so excited for this one. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for all of these. These make me feel so giddy to read. I cannot wait to pick these up. So I'm going to be reading them back to back to back to back because I want to get to them ASAP. We then have Brigid, Kemmerer's Defy the Night. This sounds like Tangled to me. It's about this magical kingdom where people are getting sick, but they can only be healed with a certain flower. And to get this flower, it costs a lot of money, so that there's these 2 characters who I think are our main characters who go out and steal this flower and provide it to the people who cannot afford it. And something's going on with the kingdom, and it sounds so fun. I really enjoyed Brigid Kemmerer's, is it the Curse Breaker series? It's the one that starts with A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I really enjoyed those. Those were so much fun, so I am so excited for this too. And lastly, would this be an excited vlog if I didn't talk about TJ Klune? So this is the 3rd in the Extraordinary series. It is about a city with real life superheroes, and our main character is chaotic and silly, and he gets mixed up in all this superhero drama. So I'm so excited for this one. I'll probably read the second one again before I read this one because I had just reread the first one in June. So I'm gonna wrap out this series, and it's gonna be so exciting. So those are the 5 books that I'm going to be reading, and a couple of things that I want to do is that I want to go to a bookstore called the Poison Pen Bookstore. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I've never been there, but I heard that they sell a lot of thrillers there. I also think it's where the author of Outlander tends to visit the most. I don't know. I think that's the one. It might be a different bookstore somewhere in Phoenix, but I really want to go there. There's also this restaurant that has iced coffee flights during brunch hour, and I think that would be really fun. I also want to see if I can try and drag my mom to do a little bit of free library shopping, so I'm gonna attempt those all in this vlog. We'll see what all I can get to, but I'm so excited. I am ready to read these books. I've been dying to get to them, so I'm glad I have an excuse to do that. So I will see you in the next clip for the first book that I'm going to be reading. Good morning. I slept like absolute trash last night, but that doesn't matter because I get to read Winter's Orbit today, and I have never been so excited to read a book. And I have to go and leave immediately, so I can't tell you much about this book besides it's an arranged marriage in space, and I am so excited. I literally cannot wait to read this. I'm going to fly through it in one day. I'm certain of it. And I think the next clip will be me squealing about how much I love this book. It has to be a 5-star read. It has to be. I'm predicting it right now. I am so tired, but I have officially finished Winter's Orbit, and I am very happy that I got to read this today. But man, am I so sleepy. So I need to go to bed very, very soon, so I'm gonna try and make this quick. I had a really good time. This is a book that follows a prince named Kiem and a man named, or an ambassador named Jinan. And Jinan was married to a man named Tom, and Tom is Kiem's cousin, but Tom died, and because Jinan is an ambassador for a different planet. He needs to be married to somebody from the planet that Kiem lives on to uphold a treaty that these two planets have together. So Kiem and Jinen have to get married. And let me just say that everything I was promised about these two relationships lives up to the hype. I am obsessed with these two together. They are beautiful. They are so precious. I adore it. So basically we're following them as they are like newly married, and both of them definitely have a little bit of self-deprecating thoughts. They're not very confident in themselves, and that has to do with like different family situations and other situations that we find out throughout the book. But they both believe that the other person does not want to be married to them, and at first it's because they know that this is an arranged marriage. Neither of them really want to be wedded to somebody that they did not choose for themselves, but they decided like, okay, we're gonna make the most of it and like tentatively become friends. And we get to follow both of their perspectives and like them thinking that the other person doesn't care or doesn't feel the same way, and it's just really precious. It gives like all the angsty, sad thoughts that I absolutely love reading in books and in fan fictions, where you get to be in both of their heads and you know that they do care and you just want to smack them and say just love each other and just kiss right now. So I really enjoyed that. If I could give the character dynamics between them two a rating, it would definitely be 5 stars, and like the sweet romance between them, 5 stars. But this is not a romance book. It is definitely a sci-fi book, so there is a lot of other elements to it. It is very political. There's drama going on. So basically we find out that Tom, Jinen's deceased partner, died under like kind of suspicious circumstances. It seems like he was murdered, and then Jinen and Kiem end up in a crash that's very similar to how Tom had died, and it seems like there's a target out for them. And so you're kind of figuring out what's going on. Why did Tom die? What was the reasons behind that? Who was just trying to kill Kiem and Jinen? And I'm not gonna lie that those parts were a little bit boring to me, just because I did really enjoy them as characters and as a couple, that I just wanted to spend more time with them, and I didn't really care too much about the politicking that happened. But that's just a me thing. I don't really enjoy political talk, and I'm also not the best at visualizing different sci-fi elements, so there were some things that I just sat there questioning what it would even look like, different scenes and places that we went to. So if I had to rate like the plot, I think I might give it like 3.5 stars, just because I was personally a little bored with those sections, but I still felt like it did a good job of just telling a story. I don't feel like it was too romance heavy ever. I felt like there was a really nice balance between getting to know these characters and following along with the plot, but I do wish we had more of these two because they were so good. I felt like the characters were really well developed. I even felt like for the side characters that we got to know, even though we didn't get like full backgrounds, like I felt like we had pretty good connections between those side characters and our main characters, which I really enjoyed. So characters, a 5, romance, a 5, plot, like a 3.5. So I don't think this is a fully 5-star read for me, but I really did have a fun time, and I am excited to see what other book is coming out in this universe. I don't believe it's going to be a sequel to this book and these characters, but I know that it's called like Ocean's Echo or something along those lines, and I think it's set in the same world. Like the covers look almost identical, so I'm excited to pick it up. I enjoyed the writing. I was even thinking of trying to like come up with comparisons to different authors that I feel match this writing style, and honestly I was kind of feeling like the characters and the relationships that were being built felt a lot like some of TJ Klune's like darker works, like the Green Creek series, how there's those heavier elements to the character and who they are, and the relationships are just really good. I really enjoy TJ Klune's character relationships, but I was also really thinking that this was similar to Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson and that like writing style. Those are the two authors I would probably compare, like a TJ Klune characterization, Brandon Sanderson like plot and movement type of deal, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. I'm very happy that I finally got to this one, but I am so tired and I need to go to bed right now. I'm going to go faceplant in my bed, so I will see you when I'm about to read my next book for this video. Good night. It's book lovers day and I am so excited, but like most days I am running very late because I can't wake up in the mornings and I am irresponsible, so I need to leave for work. And I guess that just means that I'm going to check in when I am done with this book, and I am just so excited to read it, and I need to go. Goodbye. I love this book so much. Oh my god, I love this book so much. And I am like highly emotional today. For context, I drove to work today and cried like 3 times because the songs I was listening to were nostalgic. So like I'm definitely a little bit emotional, and that might tie into why I love this book as much as I did. But like, oh my god, I love Charlie so much. I could sob right now over how much I love Charlie. Oh, let me get myself together. This is like without a doubt a 5-star read for me. It just had so much in it that I absolutely loved. So if you don't know what this one is about, because I definitely did not know what this was about at all when I went into it, it is following Nora, who is a literary agent in New York. And one day her sister, who is pregnant with her 3rd child, she's just very overwhelmed, and she asks Nora if they can go to a small town in North Carolina. And so background on the small town, Nora helped get a book published, and that book was set in this small town North Carolina city. And so Nora's sister Libby makes a checklist of all of these things that her and Nora should do while they are there, to like kind of fall into like a cliche Hallmark love story type thing, where it seems like Libby, her sister, is trying to get her to hook up with like a small town guy just for the fun of it, and Nora decides to play along because she loves her sister more than anything. But when they are there, Nora bumps into a editor who she kind of had like bad first impression with a couple of years ago, and he was the one who didn't want to edit the book that is set in this small town. And so they're just like not on the right foot. They're not exactly enemies, but they're definitely not on the right foot. And his name is Charlie, and he is an angel. He is perfect. I absolutely love him more than I think I've ever loved any other male character in a romance book. Like there's definitely fantasy male characters that I love a lot more, but I am obsessed with him, and his dynamic with Nora is just so great. I just think that Emily Henry's writing is really accessible. It's just so easy to read. It's funny, but it's also really emotional. Like with Beach Read, with People We Meet on Vacation, there is definitely like a heavier tone to it. This would, I would say, fall in between both of those in terms of emotion, because both of our characters definitely have past heartbreaks in different areas. And I just really like that Emily Henry always has something heavier in her books that aren't just love stories. And I would even say that this one is more focused on Nora's relationship with her sister and how they've grown apart, and how Nora is like desperately trying to get that relationship back with her sister, but her sister's also not fully being receptive to that at the moment. So it's about sisterhood, and it's also about Nora and Charlie falling in love. And you guys, I am obsessed with Charlie. I don't even know what else to say besides he is wonderful. He just, from the start, you knew that he respected Nora. Like he respected the hell out of her work. He might have gotten like not a great first impression of her, and she the same with him, but he knew that she did good work, and he wanted to work with her, and he believed in her dreams, and he was just so wonderful. And this book does not have like a 3rd act conflict with those two. The conflict is like something else entirely, and I loved that, because I feel like 3rd act conflicts usually ruin a romance for me. We get to it and it's always like miscommunication, or somebody lashes out and like their anger makes them say something totally terrible, and I cannot stand that. That instantly always drops down stars. And this, they were just so supportive and wonderful to each other, and I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I am obsessed with this. My friend literally asked me today if I had any book recommendations, and I wasn't even finished with this, and I listed this as my #1 recommendation to her. So I'm gonna be gushing about this forever. I think this is my favorite Emily Henry, and you know, every Emily Henry I've read becomes my new favorite. Like I read Beach Read, I loved it, gave it 5 stars. Read People We Meet on Vacation, loved it, gave it 5 stars and said no, that one's my favorite. And I read this one, giving it 5 stars, and this one's definitely going to be a favorite now too. So I just like Emily Henry's romances, I guess. I think that's what we learned, but I'm so happy I read this. I'm in love with Charlie. I am so in love with him. Cannot wait to find my own Charlie someday. It's gonna happen. Putting that out into the world right now. But I need to edit a video, so I'm going to end here. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy I read this book. Okay, I will see you for the next book that I'm reading for this vlog, which I don't even remember at this point. None of it matters because I just read this one and it's perfect. I'm so happy. Hello. So it's been a little bit since I have last filmed for this vlog, but I just wanted to say that I had a really fun day today. We actually ended up doing a few of the things that I said I wanted to do in this vlog. So me, my aunt, my mom, and my little cousin were going back to school shopping for my cousin, and we decided that we are going to go to the coffee house that had the coffee flights, and we went there and it was so cute. I really enjoyed trying it out. Like, the food was so good, the coffee was good, and we also had mimosa flights and those were delicious. Because the bookstore that I wanted to go to was right around the corner from the restaurant that we went to, we decided to go and stop into that bookstore. And it's a bookstore that actually the author of Outlander tends to go to, so there's like a whole display of just her stuff because she has a home base here in Arizona in Scottsdale, and then I guess she also has a place in Scotland. So I think that's kind of funny that both places have the word Scott in it. But yeah, they had a display for that, and then we just kind of spent like maybe 15 to 20 minutes looking around the bookstore trying to figure out what to buy. But we did end up buying a few things, so I have a little clip of us telling what we bought. Okay, Mama, show, what did you get?
I got Where the Sky Begins.
Alright.
Set in London in 1940.
Alright.
And then I got for Paige for a Christmas present, The Song of Achilles.
In hardcover, because I can never find it anywhere. Alright, Addie, what did you get?
I got a graphic novel called Jackie Haha. My Life is a Joke.
She already started reading it in the store too.
And a cute bookmarker.
Oh yeah, what's the bookmarker look like?
Bookmarker. Also counting as a ruler.
Oh yeah, a bookmark that duels as a ruler on the back. A little charm on it as well. How cute. And then I got 3 books. I got The Charm Offensive, which is a romance for you guys who don't know. And then I got a book called The Atlas 6, which is like a fantasy book about people in college, I think. And then I got the hardcover of Circe by Madeline Miller. Alright, we have to go, it's very hot. But yeah, it was a super duper fun day, and I know I need to read a few more things for this vlog, but I'm also going to be going to California next weekend as like a little spur of the moment trip with my mom. So I think I'm going to show a little bit of that in this vlog, and then everything else that I'm reading. So I'm hoping that this vlog is a little bit more interesting than other ones, but I will check in with you soon. I think I'm going to be reading another book that I want to read sometime this week. I'm not exactly sure, but you will see what I'm reading soon, and you'll also see my trip soon. So it was a good day. Packing last minute for a trip is not very cool. I am sweating so bad because I'm running around my house. But I just wanted to say quickly that I think when I fly to California this weekend, I am going to be listening to A Lady for a Duke. So I might not make a big dent in this, but I'm very excited for this book. I think this might be one of my most excited for this vlog. I don't know if I've already said what this is about, but I think it's like childhood friends to lovers. It's historical. There's a trans main character, and I am just so excited to read this. I've heard that it is so good. So this will be my plane book, maybe my airport book, who knows. But I will also be reading something else this weekend for a different vlog that I'm going to be filming. So I will probably check in with you when I get back from California, and I'll let you know how I feel about this book. I am so excited. Hello! So I have made it back from my trip, and I actually did end up completing A Lady for Duke while I was away. I think I had about an hour left that I had to finish this morning at work, but I finished the majority of it while on the plane and in the airport and in the hotel room. And what else can I say besides I love this book so much. It was so good. I did not want to stop reading it. And what was so hard was that while I was in Santa Barbara, me and my mom picked books for each other, and I had to read that book instead. And I think the vlog should be out by the time you're seeing this, but I didn't want to read that book. I just wanted to read this one. So once I finally finished that book, I jumped right back into this one because it was just so good. I am so happy that I picked this one up. I feel like everything that I've said about it before is pretty spot on. We have our main character, Viola, and she had been in the War of Waterloo. I don't know if that's the correct way to say that, but she had been presumed dead. And so we are following her. I just scratched myself. So we are following her 2 years after, and she's living with her brother and her sister-in-law, and her sister-in-law gets a letter from Viola's best friend's sister, and basically says that like things aren't going well with Viola's old best friend and that the sister basically needs some help. So Viola's sister-in-law, is it Louise? I think it's Louise, and Viola decide to go over to his castle, and the Duke is not doing well. He kind of has a bit of an alcohol and drug problem, and he is having a lot of PTSD from the war and also grieving still for the loss of his best friend. And Viola so badly wants to be his friend and be there for him, but she also wants to be able to live the life that she wants to live and is too scared to tell the Duke who she really is, and she doesn't know if he would accept her for who she is. And so there's a lot of tension there, and eventually he does find out who she is, and he's both angry and relieved at the same time, and he is so precious with Viola. It is like, it's almost like heartbreaking how precious he is with her, and just how deeply his friendship was and how deeply he cares for Viola. And I was swooning the entire time. Everything that Gracewood says to Viola is just magic to me. It was just so precious, so pure. They loved each other so much, and I've always been a sucker for childhood friends to lovers, so this was just top tier, top tier. The angst and the way that society was going to keep them apart, and Viola was just so worried about ruining Gracewood's reputation and also just trying to make sure that he was happy, and it was just so good. It was just so good. I'm obsessed with this one. So this is definitely a 5-star read for me as well, and I'm going to think about it often, and I am dying for there to be more books in this world, in this series. I enjoyed the side characters. Like, there's a few that I definitely want to see like spin-off books for them, but I am obsessed with them. I am obsessed with these two. And the epilogue, I almost cried, but I was at work, so I refrained. But there were just so many moments that I actually had to dog ear a few pages just because of what Gracewood would say and how beautiful he was. I loved it. I loved it so much. So this vlog is seriously going so well. I'm so excited about all of these books. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so happy that I got to read this one. This might have to be reread sometime in this year because I'm obsessed with it. So I don't even remember what else is going to be in this vlog, but you will be finding out very soon. I won't be finding out until next week what I'm reading. 'Tis the way of filming vlogs about a month ahead of when you're going to post them. I wasn't supposed to read this until next week, but I'm too excited. So we are reading Defy the Night today. And I don't know what else to say. I'm matching it. I'm wearing purple and purple because I feel like that's a vibe, and I'm just really excited because it feels like it should be a Tangled book. So I'll let you know if it has anything to do with Tangled. We are uncertain on that, but the cover, and it's about a magical flower, so it has to be pretty Tangled related, right? So we're gonna find out today while I'm at work. I am very, very, very excited for this one. Tangled is probably one of my favorite Disney movies. So I think I'm having the best reading month literally ever. Literally ever. I think this is 5 stars. It is definitely upside down. There we go. But I think this is a 5-star read. I had so much fun. I need to gather my thoughts because I don't even know what to say about this. It was everything I expected it to be. So it is not revolutionary. It is not the best YA book I have ever read in my entire life. There's not a lot of dramatic twists and turns. Everything's kind of predictable, but it's just what I wanted from a book. It's just action-packed. It's character-driven. The characters are really good. I felt like I understood the logic behind a lot of the characters' decisions, and I really enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed the world that they were creating. I had such a fun time, and I think that this might be a duology. If not, maybe 3 books, because the second book is coming out next month, so I'm absolutely going to be picking that up, but I don't know if there'll be a 3rd one. But I guess I should tell you what it's about. So we have our main character Tessa, and she is an apothecary, and her best friend Wes are smuggling this flower called a moonflower out of the kingdom and making tonics to help the citizens who are all suffering from this fever. And there's no cure to this fever, but this moonflower does help lessen the side effects and everything of it and prolong everybody's lives. So they are basically smuggling the flower, giving it to the people for free, and one day something happens to Wes, and so Tessa decides to go into the kingdom, and she's not exactly sure what she's going to be doing when she goes into the kingdom, but she gets into the palace and she gets captured, and from there there's just like a lot of stuff that goes on, and I don't want to give too much else away, but there's a mystical flower that's healing people. The flower is pretty rare, so it's in high demand. It's really expensive to get, and Tessa and a bunch of other people who can't really afford this flower are trying their best to get it to other people, but there's stuff going on political wise that's making it hard to get to people. It was just so good. It was just so good. It's everything that I wanted. I love Brigid Kemmerer's writing. It's not very lyrical, it's not very flowery, which is what I prefer. It's pretty straightforward, it's funny, it's simple to understand. I don't know what else to say besides I love the writing style. It's very similar to the Curse of Dark and Lonely series, where it is definitely YA, but there's like a little bit of darker undertones through it. There is a character who does some pretty terrible things, and I had such a fun time. It's also like best friends to enemies to lovers, which is so good, so good. So I think this might have to be a 5-star read. I just really enjoyed my time with this one. And it kind of had Tangled vibes with the flower that heals people and the castle and the kingdom and the thieves and bandits and stuff. I'm so picking up the next book in the series. I just loved it so much. What else am I gonna say? I don't think I have anything else to say besides I'm so glad I picked this up on a whim. This is like my favorite reading vlog I've ever made so far. I'm just having such a good time. But yeah, I guess I will just go ponder this book and think about these characters that I fell in love with, and I will see you for the next book that I'm reading for this vlog. Good morning. Real quick update. I'm going to start Flash Fire today, and then I will be reading Heat Wave for this vlog, but I do want to refresh my memory with what happens in Flash Fire before I start Heat Wave, so that's what I'm gonna do today. And if I finish fast enough, I will then start Heat Wave. So I'm very, very excited. I love The Extraordinaries. I love TJ Klune. We know this. So I have to go to work, and I will check in with you later. I literally cry over everything. This ending was so sweet that I am sobbing. So I'm gonna compose myself, and then I'm gonna let you know how I feel about this book. But I think you can tell by my tears that it's good. Okay, since I am mostly composed now, I feel like we can talk about this. I love this. I just love these characters so freaking much, and I wish I could say more about what happened in this book, but because it's the 3rd book in a series, I feel like it would just end up being a little bit too spoilery. But let's see, what can I say? We are following Nick and Seth and Gibby and Jazz and all of their parents, who are all trying to go up against like the big bad of the city, and there's a lot of superhero problems that are going on in this, and there's also just like personal things that are happening, and they have worries of their friendship and if it's going to survive past high school, and they're nervous for their senior year, and it's just so sweet. I just felt like this is such a sweet YA book where it's filled with humor and it's filled with lightness, and even though there's like some dark things happening and there are some characters who do bad things, our main group is just really wholesome. And I think that's what I like the most about it, because for me, sometimes when I read a YA and I see teenagers in those books who have parents that don't really pay attention to what they're doing in their lives, or these teenagers who go and do a ton of adult things, like, yeah, I know teenagers do that, and I know that every teenager is definitely going to be different in what their experiences were growing up, but books like this make me think back to my high school years where we thought we were grown up but we weren't, and our parents were involved in the things that we did. We had to ask permission to go and hang out at the mall or something. So I like that aspect of it. And another thing that I really liked about this book too is that the parents are involved. They aren't just sitting back and letting all of these 17-year-olds go and save the world. They are actively involved in what's happening and trying to help them out and trying to protect them as best as they can, and I really appreciate that. I just like so much about this. There was also a reveal at the end of book 2 that like genuinely upset me, and if you want to see what I mean by that, I have a review on Goodreads of Flashfire that has a little spoiler part at the bottom that talks about what I was upset about. I mean, that review was so long. I just looked at it. It was so long. I like went on and on about that book, but the reveal that upset me ended up like wrapping up in a really nice way, in my opinion, in this book. I was really glad with the direction that it went, and I think that could have been like a make or break for me if it wouldn't have played out the way that it did. So I'm really glad by that. But I don't know what else to say about this besides Nick and Seth are the sweetest in the world. There is a bit of a sex scene in this, and I am always uncomfy when there are teenagers in sexual situations, so it was a bit cringe, but it was like overlaid with humor and a lot of sentiment, so just be warned if that's also something that like icks you out like it icks me out. There is a scene with them too eventually in this book, so yeah, that's one thing to just be wary of. But other than that, Nick and Seth are just so fucking precious. They are just so purely in love with each other, and I absolutely adore them. Just childhood friends to lovers gets me so much, and the way that these two just love each other so much melts my heart. It melts my heart. So I am so glad that I finally read this book and it was a 5-star for me, which, you know, I feel like this vlog proves that the books you're most excited about, like, you know your own taste. But speaking about that, these are all of the books that I read for this vlog. And Book Lovers, I gave 5 stars. A Lady for a Duke, I gave 5 stars. Winter's Orbit was only 3 stars. Then Defy the Night was 5 stars. Flashfire is only a 4-star for me, and Heatwave was 5 stars. So do I know my taste? I think I know my taste. But this is where I'm going to end the vlog. I have literally had the best reading month so far, and it is only the 19th. So I hope in the next couple of weeks I have a few more 5-star reads or something. This is the most 5 stars I've given out all year long. I think I've only given out 4 prior to this. But thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, go ahead and leave me a sun emoji, and I will see you in my next video, which should be out very shortly. But in the meantime, if you want to talk to me about books, I have my Instagram linked in the description, as well as my Discord, so you can see me over there, talk to me about books, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.